welcome to Color Our World Blackened. This is a fan interactive project that's going to involve participation of many Metallica fans from all around the world. If you'd like a little more information about what we're doing here, just click back and check out the trailer. Now, there are a couple things I'd like to say before we get started. About 2 weeks ago, I posted up the original trailer, and we got an immediate, impressive response from the Metallica collecting community. There are a lot of people that expressed interest in wanting to be a part of this. So I just grabbed my pen and started making a list. So your names, everyone who's expressed interest in being a trade partner in this, you're on the list and we will get to you. Just be patient. Now, there are two common questions that I've been getting a lot of since I posted the trailer. The first, obviously, where are you located? Where do you live? Now, I live in the small Midwestern United States town of Muscoda, Illinois. We're about 35 minutes east of St. Louis on the Illinois side of the Mississippi. It's a nice little town. Now, the second question I've received quite a few times is, are you going to start over or are you going to start where you left off? Most of my friends are aware that I've been trading with people around the world for a long time, and they want to know if I'm going to start on the map by shading in places that I've already done trades with. Absolutely not. We're starting this project from the get-go. Okay, so that's that. Now let's get started. So because this is our first trade, I wanted to do one that had a certain level of significance. So I called on my old friend Albert. Now, the reason I wanted to include Albert in this as the first trade is because he's the guy that gave me my very first Metallica record many, many years ago. I met Albert in 1985 at a party at his brother's house. I didn't know Albert, I didn't know his brother Hal. I was with some friends and somehow we ended up over there. I didn't even get to talk to Albert that much, but what I do remember about that party is seeing the stacks and stacks of records. Now, we didn't see each other again for almost a year. I ran into him at a gas station and I said, "Hey man, aren't you the guy with all those records?" He kind of smiled and said, "Yeah." I reminded him about the party where we had met. He said, "Oh no, that was my brother's house. Why don't you come over to my house?" So he told me how to get there and I went right over. When we got over to his house, it didn't take me long to ask my favorite question. "Got any Metallica?" He just smiled and reached over into the records and pulled out 4 records. He had Ride the Lightning LP, Master of Puppets LP, and then 2 EPs that are a little more hard to find. They're a little more rare. The Jump in the Fire shaped picture disc, which was brand new at the time, and then a white vinyl variation of the Creeping Death EP. From that day moving forward, Albert probably regretted ever showing me those records because every single time I was there, I was attempting to get them. I offered him a lot of money. I offered him 100 different trade combinations. Every time I went over there, the first thing I did is ask if I could look at his records. He'd always smile, pull them out, let me check them out. Then I'd give them back and we'd discuss, what's it going to take to get these? He always gracefully declined. "Man, I got to keep these things." I kind of understood why he wanted them so much, but I wanted them more. About a year later, I got a great surprise on my 18th birthday. 2 of my very good friends, Brad and Ray, came up and said, "Hey man, we're going to run over to Albert's and drink some beer for your birthday." Well, they didn't have to twist my arm, so we all jumped in the car and headed on over to Albert's. When we got there, Albert gave us each a beer. We all opened up. "Happy birthday, Mike." Took a big drink. Then Albert handed me a record. I just thought it was standard procedure because that's what it had become every time I was over there. But when I went to give this record back, he said, "No, man, happy birthday from the 3 of us." It turns out that Brad and Ray chipped in and bought Albert a case of beer for their 2/3 of the gift, and they gave me the Jump in the Fire shaped picture disc, my very first Metallica record. After that, my primary focus in life became, how am I going to get this white vinyl away from Albert? I never really got too aggressive, but I bothered him a lot about it. Another year passed, a year or so, and I finally pinned him down. I said, "Man, there has to be something you'll take for that record. What is it? Everything's got a price. What is it? Just tell me." He stared at me for a minute and then he smiled and he said, "Okay, man, you've been at this long and hard for a couple years now. There is one thing that'll get this record from me, but for 2 reasons, it's not going to happen. The first reason, you'll never find one. They're super rare. The second reason, if you do find one, it's going to cost a hell of a lot more than that record's worth." And I said, "Okay, now we're talking. That's not what I asked you. What is it?" He said, "It's Kiss the Originals. It's a box set that contains the first 3 Kiss LPs. I said, "Okay, well, now we're talking. Challenge accepted." And he just laughed, and I went home to come up with my strategy, which I really didn't have one. So Monday morning, I went to work. We were on our way to the first job, and this one guy, I always talked a lot of music with him. You know, I'm telling him my current dilemma. I've got to find this thing called Kiss the Originals, and it's rare. It's going to be expensive. He said, oh man, my brother's got that. I said, oh yeah, right. And he said, no, he's really got it. Well, this guy talked a lot of crap, so I didn't believe him. He said he's going to bring it the next day. I said, if you've got that record, I'll give you $50 for it. I'll be here tomorrow. I really did not believe it, but he showed up the next day, and he had the box set. I couldn't believe it. It was meant to be. That was the longest day of my life, longest work day. Could not wait to get over to Albert's house that night. When I got there, standing there knocking on the door, Albert opened the door, looked down in my hand, and slammed the door in my face. Then he laughed and opened the door. He said, what in the hell is in your hand? Come on in and get your record if that's what I think it is. So we went on in, and I told him what had happened. He just sat there shaking his head. All I could think to say was, this was meant to be. I gave him his Kiss box set, and he gave me Creeping Death EP on white vinyl. Now check this thing out. To this day, this is the most beautiful record I've ever seen. Beautiful. I left that night feeling like king of the world. Now that was about 30 years ago. And ever since then, we always have stayed in touch, and we always find a way to hook it up for a visit. And every time we do, Albert asks me about the record. Oh, that white vinyl. That's what it says right here on the sticker, white vinyl. And that's something that's etched in his brain. And I always say, you mean my white vinyl? You know, because I've never really felt guilty about owning it as much as he loved it, because I paid him dearly for it. And he always laughs and says, I know it's your white vinyl. But I also know that regardless of what he got for it, he always kind of regrets letting that go. When I first made up my mind that I wanted to do this project, and I decided that I wanted Albert to be the first trade, I gave him a call. I told him what I wanted to do, why I wanted to do it, and he got all excited. He was more than happy to help, and he was kind of excited that he got to be the first trade. He only had one question. What are we going to trade? I told him that I wanted his original vinyl copy of Master of Puppets, and that in exchange I would give him a near mint copy of the exact same record, an original Master of Puppets. He laughed, told me I was stupid. Man, what do you want to do that for? He just couldn't believe that I would trade a near mint copy for his rough copy. Now, if you could see Albert's collection, you would be amazed at what he's got. He's got a very extensive collection. The only problem with any of it is that some of the records have some signs of wear. The old ring. A lot of people won't even touch records like that. So many people want high-grade copies. You know, they see that ring and they think, ooh, that's a nasty ring. Well, in Albert's case, I look at that ring and I say, wow, that's a glorious ring. I don't believe he ever bought a record with the intention of getting rid of it. And that, in my opinion, enhances his collection. The reason he bought every record he owns is to listen to the music. And I respect his collection more than any out there, even with the rings. So I want his copy of Master of Puppets. Now, Albert told me I was crazy more than once when I proposed this deal, but he also understands how I view certain items in my collection. So he told me he'd be happy to send me his old copy for a new copy of Puppets. I also asked him to tape himself opening the package. I kind of made it sound like that's just the way we're going to do this, and he agreed. Now, I didn't tell this to Albert, obviously, but I'm going to let you guys in on what I really want to do. I do want his old copy of Master of Puppets. That record takes me back. I'm looking forward to owning it. But I'm not going to send him a higher grade of the same record. I'm going to give him his Creeping Death white vinyl back. I want to surprise him. Now, you may ask, why would you do a trade like that? I know what that white vinyl means to Albert, and I've had it long enough. He's one of those unique people that makes the most of every single day of his life. He's always been that way. If you'd ever be so lucky as to meet and spend a little time with Albert, I can guarantee you 4 or 5 things would happen. You'd probably drink a little beer. You'd listen to some good music. You would laugh. I'm not talking fake cordial laugh to make it through the conversation. I'm talking real laughter. You'd have a good time. You'd feel like you were at a party, even if he was the only one there. And finally, you'd leave feeling like you just spent good time with a really good friend, and you'd look forward to coming back and doing it again. So all we need now are some supplies. We need a record mailer. We need a couple of backer boards. And we'll get this thing wrapped up. we go. Now I can't tell you guys how Albert's going to react. He may laugh, he may cry, he may jump up and down like a little kid. He's very unpredictable and always has been. But what I can tell you is he's going to be very happy. He's going to be very surprised as well. He has absolutely no idea this is coming, and I don't think there's any part of him that could imagine that this might happen. Alrighty, so here you go, Albert Keller in Farmington, Missouri, coming at you, bud.
Hey, just received my package in the mail. I can't wait. Been waiting for this for about 5 days now. Boy, if I knew how to work a dang knife here. It's got me shaking. Heck yeah. Oh my God. Look at this. Metallica white vinyl. Awesome. One hell of a trade. Look at that. Is that cool or what? Hey, this is Al Keller, representing Farmington, Missouri. Need to give a shout out to Mike. Metallica Mike, the best. Thanks, buddy. Rock on. We're going to color our world blackened. Yeah!
Alrighty, so that was my old friend Albert, and the look on his face was priceless when he realized what it was. He was otherwise well behaved. His mama would have been proud. A little piece of me thought he might start jumping on furniture, but he's getting a little old and he doesn't do that anymore. He gave me a call right after he opened that, and he just couldn't believe that I sent it. He was extremely happy and he was surprised. I had to ask him if he had any idea anything like that was going to happen. He assured me absolutely not. So he got my package in the mail, and here we go. Let's get this sucker opened up. All right, I got a bonus too. I'll show you that in a second. And here is the original copy of Master of Puppets that I wanted so badly. See the ring wear I was talking about? It doesn't bother me at all. I appreciate that. This is the first vinyl copy of Master of Puppets that I ever heard. Before that, I was all about cassettes. And that's awesome. He threw in a bonus. Now, of all the records that Albert and I listened to together over the years, this is probably the one that we listened to the most. It's Gangrene, You Got It. I think we listened to this more than we even listened to Master of Puppets. So this is an incredible bonus, Albert. Thank you. I feel like I got the better of this trade. Good trade, Albert. Now for the fun part. Alrighty, so there we have it. That's a very small dot on a very large map. We've got a long way to go. Thank you, Albert Keller. Awesome trade, brother. I'm going to be coming down to see you real soon. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Feel free to click like, dislike, subscribe, share the video. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And until next time, rock on.